One of the big Senate races is down in Georgia. Raphael Warnock versus Herschel Walker. And you know who's been getting a lot of big interviews recently? It's not Don Lemon, just FYI. I want to introduce you to 16-year-old Brilyn Hollyhand, who's a veteran in this business because guess what? He started doing this stuff at, wait for it, age 11. Look, at 11, I was watching the Brady Bunch on Friday night. And yes, it's a boomer reference. Here's Brilyn with Herschel Walker recently.
What made you want to leave the nice lifestyle you were living in the private sector to enter the vicious world of politics?
Well, I'm not a politician.
Yes.
I'm not going to sound like one, look like one, act like one. But I am a big believer in God. So
yes,
I'm a warrior for God, and I saw there was some problems going on. And with Senator Warnock, things he was doing, I know I could beat him. And I can't just sit back. As I told my mom, I answer to someone far greater than a human being right now. And with the way crime is, the way this economy is, those things that I can get in and try to help. And if I didn't do it, I think I regret it.
On the topic of President Trump, he's endorsed your campaign. He's also been vocal about his thoughts on Senator McConnell. If elected to the Senate when Republicans take the majority in November, would you vote for Mitch McConnell to be the Senate Majority Leader?
Well, see, that's one thing that's so unique. Senator McConnell, he endorsed me as well.
Okay.
President Trump endorsed me. And I've told people, right now, we got to bring this Republican Party together. We can't continue to fight among each other. That's one thing people on the left are so good at. They're good at being voted for the same thing, even though I know some of them cannot believe that. Because within that state is telling them, please don't vote for that, please don't vote for that, and they go right ahead. But that's one of the things I said I want to do is bring people together. And I need the McConnell votes, I need the Trump votes, because this is going to be a tough race for myself. Senator Warnock, he's got a good base, and he's going to be running along with Stacey Abrams. So those are people that I'm going to have to fight as well. And I think that's one of the things that I said I'm going to do is I'm ready to fight. I think I decided to run. I think Senator Warnock realized that he's got the guy that can beat him. And he's nervous, he's scared, and that's the reason they've spent so much money trying to make me look bad. But right now, the race is still almost dead even. That means that the people of Georgia is telling him that the guy for that seat is Herschel Walker.
Well, joining us now is the founder and CEO of that website, the Truth Gazette. Their goal is bringing forth the truth of our nation's politics in this fake news mainstream media world. Brilyn Hollyhand himself. Brilyn, great to have you on the show.
David, thanks for having me back. It's great to be back on the water cooler.
Well, look, first of all, let's get this out of the way. Do not show me up, please. I know you are super smart. I've got a fragile ego. So before we get going, you're not going to show me up that much, are you? I just want to make sure.
No. We'll do a softball. It's okay.
Oh,
we're good.
Perfect. Because we will cut that Skype transmission based on my fragile ego. All right, just kidding. Before we get into your life story and how all this happened, I want to get your take on that Herschel Walker interview because you get all the big names to sit down with you. How do you do that? How did that whole thing come about?
So what I say to everybody that always comes up, I'm like, how do you get these big interviews? I mean, this year, 2022 is the 5-year anniversary of the Truth Gazette. We've done over 45 plus interviews, and we interviewed some of the top political figures in America. And everybody's always asking, how do you get these interviews? How do you get these interviews? Connections built on top of connections, built on top of other connections. You know it, David, and everybody that works in politics knows that you meet this one person at this event that goes on to be this person's comms director, and then this person goes and works for this team. It's just how politics works. These connections build. So I happen to know somebody that worked at the White House that left the White House, and when the President Trump's administration was over, and now she works for Herschel Walker's campaign. And I reached out to them. Herschel was here in Alabama, my home state, and we were able to do the interview. And it was a lot of fun. Herschel's a really, really great guy. I was really impressed. I mean, he is not a politician. He is a football player, a Georgia football player, as most people know. But he really did know the statistics. He was able to answer all of my questions, and they were not softball questions by any means. You can go and watch the interview. I mean, it's not that I was attacking Herschel, but we asked him, real in-depth questions about politics, and he would come on with statistics about opioid deaths and the border crossings, and he really knew what he was doing. So Georgia is a pivotal race, as well as a lot of other Senate races right now leading up to the midterms, and I think Herschel's going to do really well. I was just very, very, very impressed by Herschel.
Yeah, boy, I tell you what, and I'm impressed that you know the deal on how to get the interviews. You're absolutely right. It is about connections. I always say to people, they're like, do you know this person? And if I don't know this person, I'm typically one phone call away from trying to get that person, for sure. It's all about connections. So good for you. By the way, I see you have the trifecta behind you. You got the American flag. What is it? Don't tread on me. Is that GW over there to your right there? Who is that?
Yes,
over there?
that's Washington, George
That's
Washington.
Washington.
Yes.
Okay, it's not Obama. All right, just double checking.
No, don't worry.
All right. What about your take on the midterm elections? What do you think? Is this a red wave in the House? And what about the Senate? Because that's a little bit tighter.
Yeah, so I think the polls are looking really good for Republicans across the country. I think that we will comfortably win the House, easily having a majority there. The Senate will be a little bit tighter, a little bit more razor thin. But I think when you look at these polls in Georgia, Pennsylvania, Arizona, Nevada, some of these tight races. A few weeks ago, over the summer, there was some concern for Republicans. Politico, the New York Times, and Washington Post had some outlets about the red wave is dwindling down. There's not going to be a red wave. It'll be a red trickle. That's fake news. I'll just say it straight here in the water cooler right now. That is fake news. I was looking at polls this morning of those tight Senate races, and we're closing the gaps. Republicans are closing the gaps in those races. I think all eyes need to be on Georgia, Pennsylvania, Arizona, Nevada. Those are those tight Senate races. The Senate will be a little bit harder to win, but right now, from the polls that I looked at this morning and in the past week or so, I think Republicans are still set to win both houses, the House and the Senate, both chambers of Congress. And I think it'll be really good for Republicans. But we can't get cocky. We can't get comfortable. Everybody has to show up to vote. If you're 18 or older, register to vote. Go to vote.gov. It takes less than 5 minutes. Everybody must show up to vote because, as you know, David, and all of your viewers know, this election in November is one of the most important elections we've had in quite some time.
Yeah, for sure. And by the way, can I just quickly say, if anybody's just joining us now, I'm not talking to a 26-year-old. I'm not talking to a 36-year-old. I'm not talking to. I know he sounds like he's 26, 36, 40. He's 16 years old, and he's making me look like a juvenile, by the way. All right, look, I got to show a picture of you when you were 12 years old. There you are. A nice cell phone, by the way, when you were 12 years old. So you really started at 11. So take me through a little bit of your history, because you've been with Trump. Let's show the picture of Trump. And there you are. That's more recent, obviously. Tell us about Truth Gazette. Tell us about how you got started, because this is just a fascinating story. By the way, when I was 12, like I said, I was studying for my bar mitzvah. All right. So that's what I was doing. And I really mean that. I was literally studying for my bar mitzvah and having like bagels and lox afterwards. All right. Tell me your deal.
Well, as you can see from just those two pictures, that first one was towards the very beginning of the Truth Gazette, and that last picture of me with President Trump was just about a year ago. I lost the baby fat and I lost the glasses, but other than that, I'm still the same person. So I started the Truth Gazette when I was 11 years old. I founded it in July of 2017 because I was like, look, I woke up one morning. I had just started getting an interest in politics around the 2016 election, but I didn't necessarily want to do something like this. I didn't know what I was going to do. I was 10 years old in the 2016 election. So a few months later, I turned 11. It was July, and I was like, look, I'm tired of the fake news media, coming on and attacking Trump when he's doing all of these accomplishments. He had just been in office for about 7 months at the time. I said, if the adults are going to do it, I'm going to have to step in and do it. So I did. I founded the Truth Gazette in July of 2017. 5 years later, I've interviewed over 45 of our nation's top political figures. I've done dozens of articles, hosted several podcast episodes, and we've had an incredible success. I've loved every second of it. I would 100% do it again. It's been so much fun. I've traveled the country. I've met so many incredible people just like you, and we've got to do stuff like this for the past 5 years, and it's been an honor. We're fighting the fake news media, and slowly but surely, we've got several people off of CNN now. Brian Stelter's been retired, and we've got several people falling out of CNN. Maybe CNN's attempting to kind of turn less fake news. Regardless, we'll still be here. I'll still be calling out fake news or fake news lies, and it'll be a lot of fun. But I've enjoyed it, and I appreciate you taking the time to spotlight this a little bit.
This is great. So just so I understand, do you know Caroline, the Patriot? Like, she's been on this show. You know her? Do you know Kellyanne Brooking? I mean, you guys roll together, so to speak?
Yes, Caroline's from here in Alabama, and I always say that there's a little band of us, young conservatives, and there's a lot of young conservatives across the country. But there's not that many that are, so vocal as some of us here in the movement. There's C.J. Pearson, Grant May. There's a lot of really great people, and we're all kind of a little band of conservatives texting back and forth when big things happen. And it's really, really great people in the movement. Everybody's so nice. You know how the Conservative Party works. We're all one big family, so It's been great to meet some new people.
How do you win over the Gen Zers? These people with the pronouns, these kids with the whole, I don't know. I can't do all this stuff. I'm like old. But what's the deal with the Gen Zers? How do you win the argument? How do you get the next generation to get on board and we need more Brylyns. We need more Caroline the Patriots. We need more Kellyanne Brookings. How do you do it?
Absolutely. I think the Generation Z is waking up. As we speak, I talk to people every day. I have people DMing me. I see people at school when I go into these conferences. I see people every day. I think my generation is waking up. And I always tell the story. I have friends that turned 18 last week, every single time one of my friends turns 18, I send them a text, happy birthday, make sure you register to vote, go to vote.gov. Because every single 18-year-old, when you turn 18, the first thing you need to do is go register to vote. It literally takes less than 5 minutes. Go to vote.gov, register to vote. I mean, I really think that my generation's waking up. We're seeing it through social media. We're able to, I mean, I wouldn't have a platform if it wasn't for social media. That's how I get my, content out there. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, that's how the Truth Gazette gets our content out there. So I really think that we're being able to, get to this group of people that didn't, first of all, have a voice. I wouldn't have a voice if it wasn't for social media. But because of social media, I've been given a voice. My generation has been given a voice, and we actually, kind of see what's going on in the country. Normal people that aren't even as involved in politics as I am, they're having to pay for gas as well. 18-year-olds, drive cars, and they're going to the pump and they're seeing how expensive gas is, and they know that that's thanks to Joe Biden when they see the little "Let's Go Brandon" sticker on the gas pump. And they're having to go to the grocery store and buy their groceries as well. They see the cost of inflation rising, and that's thanks to Joe Biden and the Kamala Harris administration. And why would they go to the polls and vote that back in? I mean, socialism sounds great to college kids, teenagers. Everything's free. It's not though, and we've been able to explain that. I put on my 60-second social media video. Hey, here's why socialism isn't really free. And because of stuff like that, we've been able to kind of slowly but surely turn Gen Z voters. But we need to make sure, regardless, that all Gen Z gets out and votes and takes that time.
That's great. There's so much great content at Truth Gazette. So I want everybody to check it out. One of the things I saw in there was this man on the street stuff you do. Just recently, you were at the Alabama Vanderbilt game, asking about Trump or Biden in 2024. Let's take a look at that.
Hey everybody, Brilyn Hollyhand here, 16-year-old conservative commentator, founder, and editor-in-chief of the Truth Gazette. We're here outside Bryant-Denny Stadium on the campus of the University of Alabama in Tuscaloosa, Alabama. We're about to go do some Brilyn on the street interviews. So you pro-Trump or pro-Biden?
Hard to say, man. I wouldn't want Trump to run again, but I mean, Biden's a disaster, so.
Definitely Trump. It's Trump all the way. There's a bear woods, man. I support Trump. Donald Trump all day.
I'm pro-Trump. I just like the way he kind of advances our economy and kind of protects that and just keeps everything solid. And I like the way he ran it. Other than that, I mean, it's Trump.
I'm not pro either. Less pro-Trump though.
You're fired. Get out of here.
You're fired. Get out of here. I love it. So, Brilyn, let me ask you a little bit. Trump, obviously, it looks like he's obviously going to run. He is going to run in 2024. But DeSantis is out there too. That's interesting. What do you make of the Trump-DeSantis stuff that's going on out there?
Yes, I mean, I think if you go watch the video, it's on the truthgazette.com. It's on my Twitter at @truth_gazette. It's pinned at the very top. You can go to my YouTube, the Truth Gazette. It's all on there. But it was a really fun, video. That's the first time I've done man on the street interviews, and I realized one day, I live here in Tuscaloosa, and I was like, look, I have a whole campus in my backyard of people that, millions of people pour in for these games all across the country, all across the world, come to Bama games. But we have an untouched audience that I can come and give a voice to. So, if you watch the video, we had people, saying they were pro-Trump, pro-DeSantis. I even had one guy, if you watch towards the very end of the interview, asked him who he would support in 2024. And he said that he would support DeSantis or Buttigieg, which I thought was a pretty wide, array of, support there. I want to sit down and have a conversation with him later about that and, pick out his politics. It was very interesting. But, I think the left, you watch CNN, you watch MSNBC, they're trying to pitch Trump and DeSantis against each other. What people need to remember is there would not be a DeSantis if it was not for Donald Trump. I know a lot of people that work for President Trump's team post office. I know a lot of people that work for DeSantis' team. They're all friends. Trump lives in DeSantis' state of Florida. They're still friends. It's not this rift that you see in the New York Times that Maggie Haberman might post. This is real friendship here. I mean, Trump endorsed DeSantis. DeSantis won in 2018. Trump, DeSantis are still friends. They still talk regularly. They both support each other. So this is not some type of, AOC versus Pelosi battle within the party or something like that. This is a friendship. They both support each other. They both have common goals. So I think Trump's running. I've said that here on the show. Hopefully, I think we'll hear something soon in the next few weeks to months. But
yeah.
Say Trump didn't run, I think DeSantis would run and Trump would support him. So I think you have that camaraderie there of they would support each other, both ways. And they're both leaders of the party. They're both really great candidates.
I've got less than a minute left. Awesome. Let's just show some video of this. I know we had it as a soundbite. Let's just show some video of it. It's Trump and let's put some video up of Kate. There it is. Look at this. You got a fireside chat. Look at you with Kayleigh McEnany at the White House. This is great stuff. I don't have all day to talk about it, but I just wanted to show it to you. Well, you've seen it, obviously. But our audience, this is the stuff that Brilyn does, so it's great stuff. I just wanted to put it up before we have to go. Hey, I got 30 seconds or so. What drives you here? Because this Judeo-Christian culture is under attack here, and I would think that's a big part of it, especially down there in Alabama.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm a Southern Baptist. I'm proud to be a Christian conservative, and I stand on those principles. I think America was founded on the cornerstone of Christianity, and those people that try to tell me that I can't speak my Christian views on TV or I can't put a tweet out about my Christianity, they can unfollow me because I have this platform. I've been blessed with this. God's blessed me with all this incredible opportunities, 5 years of success. So I'm proud to be a Christian conservative standing here today.
Brilyn, great to have you on the show. Good luck to you. And I got to tell you, you're the CEO of Truth Gazette. I'm the CEO of Overeating. So just put that together and think about it. All right, sir. Thank you so much. Fantastic.
I appreciate you having me on. Have a great week.
That's right. You too. And that's right. I called him sir. You know why? Because, boy, he talks like it for sure. And I respect him for everything he knows. He was quoting Maggie Haberman. He was talking about Maggie Haberman. Oh, my gosh. Fantastic. All right. Before we head to break, here's the latest recap on the Biden economy, courtesy of former Trump advisor Steve Cortez. He has the marker board.